Melissa and Joe Gorga are talking about the end of Real Housewives of New Jersey. Phaedra Parks is coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Scheana Shay is joining Miss USA, and Lisa Vanderpump is revealing the fakest storyline on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I hope you are ready for it. Let's dive in. You're listening to No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. What's up? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. Happy Tuesday. Tipsy Tuesday, Messy Tuesday, whatever you want to call it today. Hi guys. Happy I guess we're not quite at hump day yet, but it feels like a Friday, right? We'll go with that. Hopefully you guys had a great start to your week thus far. We have a lot that we will dive into today. Also, new episode of Disaster Daters dropping soon. New episodes of the Pop Report will be available Wednesday and Friday of this week. We have 2 new guests, and if you have not done so yet, go and subscribe to the Pop Report on YouTube. We are literally like 50 subscribers away from reaching 1,000. So we're this close. We're almost there. So if you can just help us reach that finish line, it's like we're on a marathon. Been running up that hill. So yeah, thanks for the love. Thanks for the support. Keep supporting Disaster Daters and the Pop Report. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be good to me, and I love and appreciate you. Okay. Bada boom, bada bang. Let's start with Miss USA. Because, I feel like Rachel Leviss going to be not too thrilled with this news of Scheana Shay. She's probably going to be regretting that temporary restraining order real hard after this. Ooh, okay. Sorry, I had to put my booster seat in. But Scheana Shay is going to be judging the next the next Miss USA. So it was just announced, I believe it came out via Us Weekly, that Garcelle from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and E! News correspondent Keltie Knight, they're going to be hosting the Miss USA pageant. They will be hosting it live. Judges will include Vanderpump Rules star Scheana Shay, Anastasia Beverly Hills CEO Anastasia Soare, Miss USA 1990 Carol Geist, motivational speaker Natasha Graziano, and APL managing partner NJ Falk. So they will be judging, which is interesting. Could you imagine? Imagine if Rachel was in this pageant and Scheana was judging it. That would have been just a cherry on top. But I don't think Rachel ever made it to Miss USA. Did she? How far did she get? She didn't get very far. Right now, her pageant career is over. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rachel will go on her podcast and say something. But like, how random? Like Anastasia from Anastasia Browse, like she's judging Miss USA. Random. Motivational speaker Natasha Graziano. Random. What is APL? Let's see if we can Google this. APL. NJ Falk, entrepreneur, but Athletic Propulsion Labs. And what does Athletic Propulsion Labs do? Have we heard of them? What is this, like Propel Water? Is Propel Water still a thing? They've been trying to make Propel Water happen for a minute. I don't think that. Are they even like a real company? Is the intersection of where cutting edge fashion technology and performance meets the men's and women's athletic footwear sector. What does that mean? Lots of words, but what do these words actually say? Is there a website? Is there a brand? APL, that's the name of the brand. Oh, and they have a storefront at the Row. Oh, they're running shoes. Okay, well, why didn't you just say that? She designs running shoes. Jesus, she's the APL entrepreneur. Like, nobody knows what that means. Okay, it's a shoe. They have running shoes and training shoes. Ooh, I've actually been looking for some new running shoes. I wonder if APL would like to partner up. Hmm. Okay. They have nostalgia shoes. Nostalgia 87. Okay. Interesting. Some of these shoes are actually pretty cute. I ain't mad at them. But like that's random. So we have a girl that designs shoes. We have a motivational speaker. Who is this Natasha person? Natasha Graziano. Best-selling author and the #1 motivational speaker under 40. Wow, according to Forbes. She's the leading mindset coach. Great. She's the world's abundance teacher. Don't know. Wow, she has 13 million followers. But what do they have to do with Miss USA? Isn't Miss USA a beauty pageant where you just have high hair and hairspray and like sparkly dresses, right? I didn't know you needed to know about abundance and running shoes. And listen, I like Scheana Shay, but how does Scheana fit into any of this? Because these are all like, women empower. Like, not that Sheena's not a woman empowerment, but like, I don't know. Rachel can go be a great role model to all the mistresses of the world. Yeah, see, Rachel could have given mistress representation at Miss USA. Because listen, the US is full of mistresses. We got nothing but mistresses. And you know what? Our mistresses aren't even the quiet ones. Stormy Daniels took Trump to court. Monica Lewinsky said, "Hey, look at me. I blew Clinton." Our mistresses are like out and proud. They don't do the walk of shame. They do the slut strut and they own it, baby. Own it. So if anything, we need more mistress representation. Mistresses get no respect. Why not? They got enough self-respect. She better start treating Ariana better because all of her pain and heartbreak is the reason she's getting these opportunities. For her to treat her like shit is so sad. Who, Scheana or Rachel? Yeah, Rachel don't seem to be doing that hot. Scheana, as a previous one, should support the platform. #mistress rights. Yeah, but Scheana was an unintentional mistress. Still, listen, it was still wrong. And she's owned it and she faced off and she never sued Brandy Glanville. But. Danny says, who really has the skills to judge? TV newscasters, no shade, but I'm curious with this election. Yeah, at least like America's Next Top Model, like they were fashion experts, right? And Janice Dickinson, she was a former supermodel, so like stylist like that kind of made a little sense for modeling. But like what is Miss USA? And then whoever wins Miss USA will get to go on to compete in Miss Universe. Miss USA is a beauty pageant that has been held annually since 1952 to a select representative for the United States in the Miss Universe pageant. The pageant celebrates beauty, intelligence, and empowerment, and its mission includes promoting diversity and inclusion and providing resources and opportunities for women. The crown is intended to inspire young women to claim their beauty and their voice. So it's just pretty girls walk like this. Like that's really all it is. Pretty girls walk like this. Like that's all it is. I mean, now we have to say we're promoting diversity and inclusion. But like providing resources and opportunities for women to do what? Like what are these women doing? I want to know what opportunities you're providing to women. Is it all women? Because if we're including diversity and inclusion, then that's a lot of opportunities to a lot of different types of women. Do they all get to fall out of coconut trees? Like what? I'm very confused as to what it celebrates beauty, intelligence, and empowerment. Lots of buzzwords. It's just pretty girls in pretty dresses, and they want world peace, right? So what is the criteria that they are judged on? What criteria is Miss USA judged on? Here we go. They're several areas, including an interview, swimsuit, on-stage interview, and their evening gowns. Well, there's no better way to tell a woman's intelligence than to see her in a swimsuit and an evening gown. That's really celebrating empowerment. I mean, come on. This is stupid. Miss USA consists of areas judged in swimsuit, on-stage interview, and evening gown. Eligibility criteria include age limits, marital status, good health, and residency requirement. Again, there's no better way to judge a woman than by her age and her marital status, right? Contestants aspiring to participate in Miss USA must first win their state level pageant. Like, why not just say, we want pretty hot girls that look hot in bikinis, right? Slim body, big tits. We don't want bleach blonde, bad built, butch bodies, right? We want pretty girls. It's a pretty girl contest. That's really what it is. We don't need to say that it's empowering and inclusive and we want to support women's intelligence while they're being interviewed on stage in a swimsuit by the number one abundance teacher in the world. Okay. Guys, this is really dumb. Sorry. Sorry to all the Rachel Levises in the world that take this very seriously. I thought they took the swimsuit portion out. Apparently not. The swimsuit one is so disrespectful. Listen, not Zach doing a deep dive on Miss USA in real time. I just was very curious. I saw the news that Scheana was judging. I was like, then it made me curious. Like, what is Miss USA? And then what is Miss Universe? You're the prettiest woman in the whole entire universe? And what does that do for your life? Like you saying I'm Miss Universe. Like what does that really do? Like what you're going to go to apply to be a CEO of a company and be like I'm Miss Universe and they said I look smart in a bikini. I look smart in a ball gown. I don't know. They always have random ass people judge Miss USA. But like who would be the appropriate people to judge Miss USA? Maybe a former Miss USA, right? I mean, if you're interviewing people, then you want somebody that can, ask hard-hitting questions. Maybe we have like Katie Couric. Barbara Walters died, but who else could we throw in there? I would love to interview some people. I'd be like, I'd ask some real questions. So how many husbands have you banged? Do you feel like mistresses are underrepresented in this world? An on-stage interview. That's interesting. Um, and they're judged on their evening gowns. It's so wild. This is the criteria as of 2024. So whoever said they took out the swimsuit. Okay. The contestant who wins may not have scored the highest in any one particular category, but will do well in all events. They will be young women, not old women, because we're diverse and inclusive, but we're not that diverse and we're not that inclusive, right? Young women who possess the entire package of poise, personality, intelligence, and beauty. Well, Rachel has beauty. Um, okay. That was fun. So Scheana Shay is going to be judging along with all these other women. Why do some of you guys in here keep plotting Scheana versus Ariana? It's weird. Move on. Let's support women. Support. Yeah, Sheena's literally judging Miss USA. Okay, she supports other women in their bikinis. So you know what? Stop pitting Ariana and Scheana against each other. Like, just let them be. That used to be what Miss USA was, Zach, during the Trump era, but recently Miss Universe contestants use it to push their platforms. Miss Universe PH last year was pushing for autism awareness. Oh, don't start with that bullshit. You should interview Nia Sanchez to do a deep dive into the Miss USA and Miss Universe. Was she Miss Universe or she was just Miss USA? Let's see. Nia Sanchez. She's on. That's who they should have had judge this. She was Miss USA. I don't think she was Miss Universe. Yeah, she won Miss USA, 10 years ago. Wow, she's very pretty. Like, if you look at her when she won 10 years ago and you look at her now, it's like, wow, this girl does not age. She really is the total package, but not of the whole universe, only of the USA. And that's not according to me. That's according to whoever judged that year. Oh, she was also Miss Nevada in 2014, and then she went on to be Miss USA in 2014, but she never won Miss Universe. Who won Miss Universe 2014? Miss Universe. These are like really shallow. Oh, Miss Philippines. Wow, she's really pretty. She kind of looks like Nia though. Interesting. She's very pretty. crowned Miss Universe 2014? Well, the more you know. Wasn't Olivia Culpo Miss Universe? Not that year. I'm happy for Scheana, regardless of how she drives me crazy. I like Scheana. I know she was first runner-up to Miss Universe. Wow. Interesting. Huh. Okay. You go, Nia. Um, all the pretty girls walk like this. Who is this? Did I have a date? Somebody's texting me about scheduling our date. Oh, I forgot about that. Oops. Gotta save people's numbers. It wasn't a date. Okay. That said, that's Miss Universe. And Miss USA, in case anybody was wondering, that's our history lesson for the week. That said, let's keep it moving. Phaedra Parks, Kelly Park, Phaedra Parks, booty, 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 rocking everywhere, peaching everywhere, peaching everywhere. I found you, Miss New Peachy. Phaedra Parks made her official announcement with Bravo this week that she is returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but not returning in a friend of capacity or a guest capacity. They have given Phaedra a full-time contract. They are making her a full-time housewife. She is holding a peach. This is confirmed by Bryce Sander with Entertainment Tonight, which, I mean, nothing says a season's struggling like adding in a full-time housewife 3/4 into the production, because they were already filming back in what, May? Kenya Moore got fired in June. We're now going into August, and they're now just bringing Phaedra in full time. That means the last 2.5 months of filming have really been lackluster if they're bringing in Phaedra full time. I would imagine they're going to edit Kenya out altogether. So that's a couple weeks of production that they're probably going to scrap altogether. But then I mean, how do you add a full, like, even when Kathy came in what was it, last season? She came in at the tail end of it, or was this the season before? She came in right at the end, remember? But even when they brought her in, she was a friend of. They didn't bring her in full time. They're bringing in Phaedra full time. Here's my pushback to that, though. I don't know if Phaedra is a strong full-time housewife. And I love Phaedra. I do. I enjoyed her on Ultimate Girls Trip. I enjoyed her on The Traders, but I don't know if we're gonna really enjoy Phaedra full-time on Housewives. I don't know. I mean, anybody um, when they watched Phaedra on Housewives originally, you can share whether or not you thought that she was a top. She's good at shade, right? She's good at being, somebody that comes. She's like a good Jen Fessler, right? Like they're good in doses. They're good to come in and stir the pot or give a cheeky shade. She was great on the Traders because it was a different. It wasn't Housewives arena. She killed it on Traders. She killed it on Ultimate Girls Trip because that's the arena that she thrives in. Vacations, playing games, being shady, facing off. But see, Joe Mendoza says Phaedra is palatable for shows like The Traders, where we don't need to see her life, just shade and confessionals. Exactly. I think Phaedra's a great friend of. I don't know if it's going to hit the way people are expecting it to. I think this is a last ditch effort to save the show because now that Kenya's gone, they need somebody to hold that peach, but the peach is too big to be held. I love Phaedra, and I say that loving Phaedra, but I don't think that this is, Danny says it really is sad watching the demise, downfall, and discarding of some of my favorite housewives. Not saying some of them aren't at fault, just a shame to see it go down for so many the way it's going, right? I mean, Jersey's going down. We saw Brandy Glanville go under. We saw Kenya Moore go under. She's more entertaining than Candy was, though, so I'll take it. I agree with that. I thought Candy was kind of boring for the most part. Like, Candy had moments, but Candy was boring as AF. Candy was not where it's at. We'll see what Phaedra has to bring. I'm interested. Phaedra is funny in collab with Portia and going to get at it with the others, but I think she'll be tight-lipped when it comes to her personal life. And that's what we don't want in a housewife, right? We want somebody that's willing to be open and honest and vulnerable. I saw Apollo just got arrested, her ex. He was arrested for, what was it, domestic violence? Let's see. For battery. arrested for assault after wife calls the cops. Yep. Apollo Nita was arrested after his wife, Shireen, accused him of getting physical with her. This is according to In Touch. According to court documents obtained by In Touch, Shireen called police on Apollo on March 11th. Oh, this was a while back. The police report shared Shireen listed as Shireen Copes told officers that she had just come home from a bar with friends and had 3 alcoholic drinks. She said they started having a verbal argument about how they were cheating on each other. What? Shireen said during the argument, Apollo showed her a video of her kissing another man. What? So she was cheating. Somebody call Rachel Levis. We need some representation for this mistress. The report said that Apollo pulled her by the hair and pushed her against the refrigerator. Listen, Apollo, sometimes I like that, but not when we're fighting. Shireen said that the two proceeded to get into a scuffle. Ooh, not a scarfuffle, but a scuffle. She said that she ran outside and called for help. She said that she went back inside to get her phone and Apollo had left. Police said Shireen showed them surveillance video of the verbal altercation. However, they said it did not show the physical altercation. Apollo showed up to the home and spoke to the officers. This is another Tom Sandoval Victoria. We recorded you, Billy Lee, but the cameras weren't on. He claimed that while they were arguing, he tried to take her phone from her. He said that while trying to take her phone, she balled up into the corner to protect her phone. Apollo said he took her phone. He said that she ran outside to call for help, but then came back inside to give her back the phone. Officer said Shireen declined medical attention at the scene. The report noted that she did not have any marks or any bruises that showed that there was any physical altercation. Apollo was placed into custody and charged with domestic violence and simple assault. Oh, not acute assault, but simple assault. He was transported to the local jail and processed. Jail records obtained by InTouch show Apollo posted a $3,000 bail and was released hours after being booked. Prosecutors charged Apollo with one misdemeanor count of simple battery, family violence. A hearing took place last month, but the court records do not indicate if Apollo entered a plea or has hired an attorney. There you go. Curious if Phaedra's going to talk about that. Mallory says supposedly Phaedra quit Married to Medicine because Dr. Heavenly called Shireen to bring her on the show to talk to Phaedra. See, that's my point. Phaedra is not a good housewife in that sense. She's a great reality star. She's great in doses, as Joe said, but I don't think she's a great housewife. I do like Phaedra though, and it kills me to say anything critical of her. Kim D is saying that they have 3 people on hold for the Real Houses in New Jersey reboot. But who knows? Okay, well, let's get into that. Let's talk Real Housewives of New Jersey. So, Melissa Gorga. Well, actually, let's get into what Andy Cohen actually said, because yesterday it was reported everywhere, like, oh my God. Andy Cohen said that there's going to be a reboot because Bravo and Cocktails posted about it, about Andy Cohen saying that they were rebooting it and they were going to be all new faces and blah, blah, blah. Well, Talk of Shame, which is a great Instagram account. If you guys are not following Talk of Shame, I highly recommend it. But so Talk of Shame actually posted the clip of what Andy actually said. So let's play it for you.
You know, Teresa is going to always find somebody or something. She's like that, you know, and she's interesting to everybody. But the Melissa story, that's so old. The Joe Gorga story, like, don't even get me started on that, man.
All right. Well, yes, we are rebooting the show. Thank you, Joanne. We're going to reboot it. We're going to do something different.
It would be great because, like I said, you know, Teresa will always get in trouble. That's how she is.
Okay.
But the other one's boring, very boring storylines. Their storyline is only Teresa.
Okay. So you want Teresa to stay on the show?
Teresa is the show. Like I said, Teresa, you know, she'll find a way to get her in trouble. She'll find a way to make it interesting. The same thing, like the Margaret has no storyline. It's just Teresa. The brother.
Okay. All right. Okay. We got it. Okay. We're gonna see what we do. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe just all fresh faces. Maybe we'll see.
Okay, so that's exactly what Andy. I love him. I was like, okay, all right, we get it. That was funny. So yeah, that's exactly what Andy Cohen said. It sounds like there is some sort of reboot in the process of coming. The way he was talking about it on Watch What Happens Live as well with Melissa and Joe Gorga also kind of, you know, speaks to that as well. I respect radio shows for bringing on callers. I always skip that part. I don't need to hear fans' opinion. Yeah, and she was kind of annoying too. That lady, I don't know what was that lady's name? I don't know. She was annoying. And he's just like, all right, we get it. Like, she's like, Melissa has no storyline and Margaret has no storyline. Well, what's Teresa's storyline? That Louis is a crook? That Louis is what, shady? That Louis is battling his ex in court because she's filing a restraining order against him? Come on. You could tell Andy was just kind of over her. But so he, shut that down. She's like, we want Melissa gone. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna shut that down, lady. It was probably Teresa's friends. No, there are a lot of these tree huggers, tree stumps that are just like, oh my God, Teresa. Which, let's be honest, Teresa's great on the show, yes, but the other ladies also bring something interesting on the show too. And tree huggers, if we're really going to be honest, nobody likes to talk about Melissa Gorga more than the tree huggers. More than Teresa, they love to talk about Melissa. So, yeah, there you go. I said what I said. But so Melissa and Joe were both on Watch What Happens Live and on the after show. Well, Melissa was on Watch What Happens Live and Joe was in the audience. But in it, Melissa said, because he was talking about Jersey and the finale, and she's like, the finale is crazy, and the things that are said at the finale, like if you think you've heard the craziest stuff ever, you're going to hear it even crazier stuff come out at the actual finale when you see it, which will be airing, I believe, this Sunday. And so, Melissa, when it comes to the future of Jersey, she said it's time for a change. I do think the change kind of means that some people are going to go, and maybe everyone's going to go. So I think we're all just trying to do our best to try and figure out what's going to happen and realize that it's realistic that things might change. And then on the after show, Andy Cohen did ask Joe Gorga about season 14 and about it being the end of this chapter. And Joe says that it hurts, but like, what are you going to do? And I get it. He's like, what are you going to do? Like, we've had a great time on this show. It is what it is. So it kind of feels like this is the end of an era. And I feel like all of the ladies might get scrapped off. Well, look at what they did with Atlanta. It wasn't a full reboot, but like they rebooted, and the only one they were bringing back was Kenya and Drew. So they scrapped the entire cast minus 2. They've done this before. They did this, New York season 5, when they got rid of Jill and Alex and Kelly Ben Simone. They chopped half the cast. So now here we are. We're back at it again. If anything, they may keep like Rachel Food and Danielle Cabral because they were like the new faces of Jersey, or they may keep one of them and maybe one of the old staples, like one of the veterans. I don't know which veteran they would keep though. I don't think Teresa or Melissa makes. I mean, I think Melissa makes sense on the show, yes, but I don't know. I just think Teresa at this point she's evolved beyond housewives, right? She's in a new era of her life. She wants to move to California. And so I predict that Teresa leaves the show, comes to California, and starts a new life here, right? Melissa, I think, can come back. I don't think Margaret will come back. I don't think Dolores will come back. I think Dolores will choose to leave the show. Zack thinks workers don't deserve a living wage. How dreadful. I never said workers don't deserve a living wage. Workers. No, I'm not going to do this because every time somebody comes into the live chat and then they say something negative and I try to respond or I try to clarify what I mean, and then they continue to poke, and then I get a little snappy, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, Zack's so mean to the live chat." When it's like sometimes people come in here to provoke something, and so what I said was what I said. It is on the episode. I stand by what I said. That is not what I said. I did not say workers don't deserve a wage, but there is a difference between a full-time career and a part-time job. A part-time job is not meant to provide somebody's living. I said everything I needed to say yesterday. No, Teresa, go to another state. Yeah, Teresa, she wants to move to California. I think she's ready for something, She's ready for a new chapter. She's ready for, like, I think her and Louis will probably be happier in California. They'll be able to invest in other TV projects. They'll maybe get out of Housewives world, which may be healthier for their relationship. So I don't really know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Teresa is probably done. I think she's ready to move on. I think she is done. I think Margaret's done for sure. And what a great way for Margaret to go out, though. I don't know what the finale is going to bring, but the scene with the flowers and all that I thought was great because it's like that would have been a total flop of a scene had Margaret not come in here and like kind of made it funny. It made it shady, you know? So, yeah. Well, Janelle. But are we sad to see this era of Jersey end? I love Jersey. Jersey was always my gateway into Housewives. I think it was the season 2 reunion. Or was it the season? No, it was the season 2 reunion because I remember it was the season that they brought Melissa and Kathy in. So I never really watched the seasons with Danielle on until after, and then I kind of binged the first 2 seasons, but season 3 when Melissa and Kathy came on, that's when I first started watching Jersey. And then Jersey led to New York, and then New York led to, or no, Jersey led to Beverly Hills, and then Beverly Hills led to, I believe then it was New York, right? Yeah. And I think those are the 3 that I watched. Jersey, New York, Beverly Hills. And then eventually I started to pick up on all the rest of them. I love Jersey. I don't want it to end. I love it, but I think all Bravo shows ran their course. Season 2 of New Jersey was epic. No one can top that reunion. That was wild. That's one where she pushed Andy, right? And she threw the pillow and Danielle just like slowly walks up the stage. Great. I really like Jersey, but it's circling the drain. I think all housewife shows. My only fear is that they're going to turn Jersey into like New York. I think New York is like all of the housewife shows are struggling right now. Atlanta is clearly struggling if they had to bring in Phaedra to come and save it. New York is struggling. New York's not doing so hot. I think they brought in 3 new cast members that have been reported, including like Rebecca Minkoff, and then they brought in another one at the end. So then at this point, it feels like if you have to keep bringing new people in throughout the season as it's going on, that's telling me that there's not enough going on with the current cast, and it's not, Jersey, I think, has just run its course. We'll see what Beverly Hills brings. Beverly Hills and Jersey were always my favorites. I also loved RHONJ, but RHONJ's done, but we'll see. Correction, all of them have jumped the shark at one point or another. Yeah. But listen, if anything, OC's had its resurgence. OC went totally downhill and came right back up. I don't know how long the OC renaissance is going to last, though. It may be like a season or 2. Bravo needs a new series format, reimagined reality TV. I agree. With a new model, right? A new style of show that's going to make us. I thought Real Girlfriends in Paris was a smart direction for them to go in. But ultimately, they didn't put the funding in the marketing behind it, and the show didn't really take off. I thought Real Girlfriends in Paris was good and had the opportunity to really be something new. Vanderpump Rules was also an exciting new model when they first brought that in, that they just needed to find something new that's going to work and something that's going to stick. Forbidden Love on TLC is so good. What is Forbidden Love on TLC? We shall see. And start to bring the shows over to Peacock. I think that was a smart decision. I think it was probably not the best decision for them to move Miami off of Peacock and on to Bravo. I think they should have kept Miami on Peacock. We'll see. All good things come to an end eventually. But it's just time. Yeah, it's time to reimagine. And I think rather than milking these shows until they have dust in them, I think leave them on a high, right? Let them end on a high note. Like even if they end OC this season, I was like, at least we knew it was a good season and it went out with a bang. And we'll always remember that final season as a, they seem to really give Southern Hospitality a chance. I liked Candy and the Gang spinoff. Candy and the Gang didn't end up going anywhere though. Interesting that they continue. Southern Hospitality I haven't watched, but I know people do like it. Bravo and other channels need to do what Love Island does and release the episodes in a much closer time. I agree. Well, Love Island's a little tough. Love Island's like live in the moment. There's no way they would be able to do a housewife style show like Love Island. Love Island is filmed and like released within what, 24 to 48 hours. I don't know if that'll realistically happen. Family Karma left me wanting more. Yeah, see, that was good. Family Karma left you wanting more. Shaws of Sunset left you wanting more. So I think sometimes you can end the shows on a high note and then they end there and it leaves you wanting more. You always want to leave people wanting more rather than not enough, right? I love Southern Charm. When is it coming back? It should come back this fall. It's already done filming. I know there were some production errors, so we'll see. Zach, will you interview some of the Southern Hospitality cast on your show? Joe Bradley, I feel like he follows me on Instagram, I think. Yeah, I mean, sure. Like real cast members, though, you know? Not the thirsty side pieces. Okay, I think that's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. But I was just on Chef Stew's podcast, so you can tune in to Don't Let It Stew. I was just on there. I texted Stu last night. I was like, so is this it? Am I like am I like your first official chump? So yeah, we'll see. I was on just Don't Let It Stew. You'll get a new episode of Disaster Daters this week. You'll get 2 new episodes of The Pop Report out this week, and you'll continue to get new episodes of No Filter streaming live on YouTube first thing in top of the morning. Oh, actually, before we do that, there's one last story I did want to cover, and that was Lisa Vanderpump. Lisa Vanderpump. She did an interview with Bustle. It was a fine interview. And in it, she reveals the fakest storyline on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Which I thought was kind of funny. She talks about how, oh, thank you, Pamela B, for this super chat. Appreciate you. She says that the fakest storyline ever on Real Houses of Beverly Hills was not even a storyline that included her. It was actually Dorit's Buca de Beppo Capri Room. Remember the Capri Room? It was the Brandy and Denise season, right? When Brandy outed that they hooked up. And remember, and then Brandy comes to the Capri Room because Dorit is hosting a baby shower for Teddy in the Capri Room. And so they're all filming in there. And yeah. So Lisa says that was completely fake, that Dorit is not a real restaurateur. Lisa's like, I've opened up 37 establishments and Dorit decorated a room in the back. And she's like, and I know the founder of Buca de Beppo. I know who owns that spot. And FYI, it was all BS. It wasn't a real storyline. She's not a restaurateur, nor is she even a designer, which was like a major shade. She was coming hard at it. Joe says people who live in LA should check out Buca de Beppo to see if the Capri Room is still out there. I'm not a fan of Buca de Beppo, to be honest with you. I haven't like properly eaten at Buca de Beppo since I was in college. Actually, that's not true. I went for somebody's birthday. They were like doing birthday dinner and right? I think it was somebody's birthday. No, why was I at Buca de Beppo? It was like last summer, I want to say. It was within the past year, for sure. And I don't remember why I was at Buca de Beppo. But I was like, why are we at Buca de Beppo? But yeah, that's what it was. The last Buca de Beppo I went to had the Pope's head on the table. Why was the Pope's head on the table? So I went for a family thing. Yeah, it's more of like it's a chain restaurant. You go for like family things. It's like the Cheesecake Factory, right? Nobody goes there because like, oh my God, the food is so good. But I think it's in the Valley. Maybe next time in the Valley, I'll pop into Buca de Beppo and be like, let me see if I can have some penne alla vodka. But they have a Pope room. They have a Pope room at Buca de Beppo. Is Dorit's Capri Room still open at Buca? It doesn't seem like anybody's posted about it since 2021. So I'm assuming the Capri Room Oh, yeah, because that's right. They shut down because of 2020, and in 2020, everything closed. That's right, because it was the Denise season, but that's when they had to self-tape their confessionals. So the Capri Room didn't last very long. Did it continue? Let's see. There is a Capri Room hashtag. Here's the Capri Room. Dorit said, tonight, Kyle and I host Teddy's baby shower. When was this? August 2020. In the brand new Capri Room, I was a proud moment to see this vision of my room come alive. And it was so fun to decorate the room specifically for the shower. Thank you, Nick and Buka. Slide to see the Capri Room sans shower, and I'll be going live on Buka de Beppo's Instagram Live today. Join me in answering all of your questions and accepting live requests to chat with a few of you directly. I mean, it's a fine room. It's fine. But I mean, I think there may have been faker storylines for sure. Heather Johnson says, thank you for juggling all the podcasting content. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love you. It gets me into trouble sometimes. As you'll see on this week's episode of Disaster Daters, it is a very raw episode of Disaster Daters, I'll tell you that. Because like I said, there were some things that I mentioned on my members only. I guess some people thought that I was trashing Jeff, my co-host on Disaster Daters, which I have nothing but love and respect for Jeff, and I would never intentionally trash him. And so what I thought was storytelling got misinterpreted. And so we get into studio and we talk about it for the first time. And you're gonna see a lot. And I don't know how I feel about I was watching one of the edits of the episode of the final edits yesterday, and I was like, oh, I was literally cringing as I was watching it. I was like, oh, I don't know if I look bad. I don't know if I look like I was dramatic. All I know is I'm as real as I can be, and I put my everything on the table. I'm not afraid of looking dumb or looking embarrassing or looking cringy or overly emotional or whatever it is. I am who I am. I always show you that the good and the bad and the messy. I don't know what people's reaction is going to be to this episode or where they're going to fall in terms of whether or not they see whose side of this. I do feel like there was additional context that would have been more helpful in telling my side of things that obviously I wasn't able to share for privacy reasons, but we get into it and you're going to see it all for yourself. So yeah. Thank you. Cassie says, I don't think you were trashing him at all. People starting trouble. Thank you. I would never, and you will see this because I didn't even realize Jeff felt that way until we literally walked into studio, started recording, and then the episode just took off from there. So it absolutely, broke my heart that would come across that way. So yeah, my intention was never to be trying. I thought I was just storytelling the same way I storytell about every other detail in my life. I did not think that any of the commentary that I was saying was meant to be a character assassination in any way. But I also know that there were things that people took out of context and words that I may have used that got twisted and taken out of context. And I don't know what the intention of sharing those things were or for painting it in the light that it was painted in. But we get into it, we clear it all up. It's a long ride, but just, ride through the waves of the conversation for sure. Listen, sometimes you got to be cringe. And I'm not afraid of that, I'm not afraid of looking bad. I just can't be anything other than me. How do we go about joining members only? Can I do it from YouTube? Yes, there's a link below in the description that you can join. Isn't Disaster Daters today? Yes, but it will be a little later because I asked the editor, I said, listen, the only way to fully tell, this beef between us is to at least roll the tape. So they're pulling footage from that day and editing it into this episode. That way you guys can see everything exactly as it played out. And I told them, don't edit anything out, use the full clip and leave it. So they're editing that into the new episode. So you'll get to see it for yourself and make your decision there. Very curious. Jen Willow says, you didn't say a bad word about Jeff. Not sure where the backlash. Thank you. I absolutely did not try to say a bad word about Jeff. I would never. I care about Jeff. I know Jeff is a very good person. He and I are both troublemakers. So there's nothing that I would say about him that I probably wouldn't say about myself at times as well. I know him at his core. I feel like I defend him all the time because I truly know his heart and I know who he is. And I mean, listen, Jeff's the guy that when it's cold outside is asking people to donate blankets and drinks and stuff so that he can help go and take them to the homeless people, which I live in downtown and I don't even do that shit, like but he's mindful of that. Like it's freezing outside and there are people that are on the streets and like he's just got such a good, pure heart and he's so sensitive. And, part of the reason I wanted Disaster Daters I wanted to bring disasters. And part of the reason I asked him to do disaster, because it's not that like I needed to do disaster. That's a third podcast that I didn't need to add to my plate because the Pop Report was already in development at that point. But the Pop Report was originally supposed to be, we pitched it to The Ringer, and it was originally supposed to be The Ringer, and it was originally supposed to be the show that Adam and I had pitched back in 2022 that got scrapped because Adam pulled out of the deal. So then the conversations revisited. It was supposed to be What's the Scoop? That was the working title. We shot a pilot for it. It was me, Andy, and our friend Evan Reel. And then ultimately, Evan ended up having to not move forward because he had to move forward with his contract with Page Six and virtual reality. And they're now moving back to New York. So he wasn't able to do the Pop Report. And that's how it ultimately became the Pop Report with me and Andy. But so that's already been in development for the longest time at this point, over a year now. So when it came to Disaster Daters, there wasn't a real need. And it was supposed to be a 6-episode Valentine's Day special that Jeff and I did together, a limited series. And it went well. And you guys wanted more. And I enjoyed it. And I wanted it to be so successful. And I wanted you, anytime I bring any of my friends onto any of my projects, it's because I want to introduce them to this community that I know is so supportive of me. And I want you guys to also be supportive of the people that I care about that are in my life, And so there we go. Flashbacks like Real Housewives. Sort of, Laura. Sort of like Real Housewives. Joe says, true to Zack giving it, and the Zack Pack, his members, we welcome taking it raw. Thank you. We love Jeff. Thank you. Jeff has a good heart, and you didn't say anything bad or wrong. People need to keep things to themselves. Well, I just feel like the intention of sharing those things was not intended to make him aware as much as it seemed to be. Again, I don't know. I didn't see the messages. I don't know the people who did it. I didn't ask. You'll see it all play out on Disaster Daters. I didn't ask. I just kind of let it all play out as it did. I don't need to know who it was. I don't need to know exactly what was said. At the end of the day, I know my experience. I know what I said. I know the words that came out of my mouth. I can take accountability for my actions. But it's going to be interesting. I'm curious how people are going to react to it. And I'm a little worried. I probably come across really bad in it. And I can own that, I am who I am. But, well, it will be fine. I know. It is fine already. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. You and Jeff are both good people. Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate that. I try to be a good person. I'm not perfect. I have my, Are you looking forward to taping today? Today I'm taping with Andy. We have AJ Gibson that's going to be on the Pop Report. Thursday is going to be a busier day because we're taping the Pop Report in studio and we're taping Disaster Daters in studio on Thursday. And I think this is going to be our last episode of the season for Disaster Daters, which was supposed to be last week, but because we were going to have a full 8 episodes. But we're now taping it this week. So ciao for now. I love you. I appreciate you. Give me a follow at Just Plain Zack all over the internet. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zack. Be sure to listen, watch, and subscribe to the Pop Report and check out Disaster Daters. Disaster Daters is new every Tuesday. Pop Report's new every Wednesday and Friday. So go. Let's get it. Let's go. Okay. I love you. I appreciate you. I will talk to you later, Skater. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Ciao for now. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Ciao for now.